based study today. The case will be taken in the next lecture. Today, I will tell you all the fundas which are there regarding understanding of the evolution of this human being and how we can apply it to homeopathy and to embryology. So, definitely, each word said by Dr. Hahnemann sir 275 to 280 years back, they still stand true. So, this is the magic of homeopathy. Even till due date, it stands true. All his experimentations have never changed with the evolution of man. The word he has said, they are still there today. He himself told in his organon that whatever I am presenting here today, it will take ages for my followers to understand. And yes, whenever we explore organon day in and day out, something new props up in the mind and we get new learnings. So, going ahead to the bridge of Master Samuel Hahnemann, paying tribute to our Einstein of homeopathy, who has told that there is no limitation to homeopathy, but homeopath is himself the limit to homeopathy. So going ahead, as I believe in bridging the knowledge of what Sir has taught, what I have perceived from Organon, and what I can implement into my practice. So this is the aphorism 52. Yesterday, when I was just, it was on my screen, and I was really, really very surprised the way Hahnemann Sir has written to it. He has written ki definitely we know from the practical orientation that we are belonging to a science, a divine science named homeopathy, and there is a right science known as allopathy. Today I'm not trying to present to you the controversy or what disputes we have, but I want to tell you on what grounds we stand. So he himself has mentioned it very truly and very correctly that there are but two principal methods of cure. The one which is based on accurate observation of nature. See the beauty of each word this German scientist has written on his organon of medicine. He has not written a single word meaningless. Every word has got a depth of knowledge. So please pay attention to the words he has written, the accurate observation of nature on careful experimentation and pure experience. So this stand true with us also. So if we have to go to this science, we need to go to the observation of nature, how nature behaves, how nature implements itself, what are the rules and regulations what nature has been following, and what careful experimentations we need to do and how we need to experience it in our life. So this is the journey of a homeopathic doctor, starting from organon to the practical based case understanding of everything. So, friends, here he has said that this is what we never thought of was homeopathy. And the other part, which doesn't follow this rule, is heteropathy or allopathy. But each opposes the other, and only he who does not know either can hold the delusion that they can never approach each other or even become united, or to make himself so ridiculous as to practice at one time homeopathically, at another allopathically, according to the pleasure of the patient, a practice which may be called criminal treason against divine homeopathy. So these are not my words, these are words of our master describing that our homeopathy is a divine science which is based upon the nature's law, and it can be experimented, experienced every day in your practice, day in and day out. So, friends, let's move ahead and understand how we can correlate nature and homeopathy. And this is my sincere attempt today to make you correlate the nature's law. So, as we all know, the second half of this aphorism talks about the sincerity, the dedication, the honesty a homeopath requires to have during his practice, and we should not be flexible or mold ourselves according to the patient somewhere with the requirement. We are giving some other medicines, we are trying with, it is not only sticking to allopathy, but I will say giving polymedicines, giving some other form of treatment of homeopathy, and not standing true with the classical homeopathy. So he has said it is a criminal treason, and in those days the criminal treason is the highest word, that it's a crime if you're not following real guiding principles of homeopathy, the cardinal principles laid upon by Dr. Hahnemann sir. If you are not following, it is a criminal treason for the divine science. So it is not just a crime, criminal offense, but you have to pay off, because we are in this divine science where the patient is really, really trusting you to the bottom of the heart, and he comes to you with that faith that yes, this doctor is going to not only heal me, not only give a palliation, but this doctor is going to cure me to the perfect. This is the depth of this aphorism, and where we should know ki being a homeopath, if you have to give master results, you have to be dedicated, devoted, and definitely determined, and not a single day of your life should be wasted where you are not gaining knowledge. It can be through your patients, through the books, through the sharings and lectures, anywhere, but you have to keep learning and keep growing in your life. So this is what Hahnemann says, that if you are working on this path, this is the real mission of your life, as mentioned in aphorism number 1, and this is the higher purpose of our existence. We are not existing over here, as rightly said by our Bade sir, that we are not existing, that we are human being just to live life fruitlessly or without any motive and mission. But here we are to take this divine science to the highest level, to take this science to that peak level, so that we are really, really achieving the higher purpose of our existence. And this higher purpose of existence we need to understand through the evolution of embryology, or through the evolution of our human being, how we have developed, and how this higher purpose of existence stands truth in every nooks and corners of our development. So again, giving a clue that we are based upon nature's law, he has rightly mentioned that what Darwin used to say is survival of the fittest. And here he says that we are based upon law of nature, indeed surmised, but not hitherto fully recognized. That means, yes, everything is there in this universe. Only thing is, what sir said was to have that perception, to have that thing in the brain, so that your eyes can see. If your brain doesn't know, your eyes won't see. So this nature's law was definitely there even before the times of Hahnemann. But Hahnemann sir could retrieve it, could recover it, and understand the real cure which has never taken before. So he rightly said, a weaker dynamic affection is permanently extinguished in the living organism by a stronger one. So if we take this living organism as a universe, we'll be able to understand my lecture today in a better way. So let's take this living organism as the whole universe, how we have developed, and by a stronger one, if the latter is similar to the former in its manifestation. So how the universe has developed, and how this living organism till to date is not only fighting itself for existence, but how it is growing and evolving through these ages. So he already said that we are based upon the nature's law of cure, but the nature's law, why homeopathy is again an infallible law of nature, because we are based upon the mild cures. We believe in homeopathic medicine, which are milder but give rapid cure to the individuals. by our experience and deduction. So we have been continuously growing in our practice also. So you will also agree to me that 10 years back or 5 years back, the downline, when we took admissions in our colleges, first year, the understanding of homeopathy was very different, and today with our practical implication and our experiences, whatever we have deducted, we have applied our logic, we have applied our intellect, we can understand things in a better way. Day by day our knowledge is enhancing. So unquestionably the proper one by which through art the quickest, most certain and most permanent cures are obtained, since this healing art rests upon an internal infallible law of nature. So we all know that again the law of nature stands very true, and it is to be mild and very quick and permanent results. But this is only possible if you understand what is this law of nature. So going ahead to the nature again, what he said, that in nature everything is there and everything is evolving. This, if you are today here, that means you have been here existing since millions and trillions of years back. So Hahnemann sir was a person who has understood the evolution in a broader perspective, and he has understood how it took generations and millions and trillions of years for this human being to evolve as an incredible development. So he himself talks about embryology, he himself talk about evolution, but we being a very small minded people, we are not able to understand the depth this incredible master has given to us. So going ahead, this ancient infecting agent, I would call this ancient infective agent over here, is not only the genetic material, but all the processes which have been going right from the day when the earth has started or has begun, and it has been gradually passed in some hundreds of generations through many millions of human organisms, and has thus attained an incredible development. I'll tell you friends, when I read this aphorism, I was with embryology, and I never thought of ki this topic could have been so vast to understand, but this aphorism really gave me that support and gave me that insight to go to the depth of evolutionary embryology, which was never taught before. I know that this topic is a very surprising topic for you all. Ki embryology, yes, we have studied embryology, Herring's law, implication of embryology. Yes, we have heard about it, but evolutionary embryology, no one has even thought about it. So we am presenting to you on the basis of this aphorism, where Hahnemann sir has also talked about the evolution which has passed away upon to us from millions of generations and millions of human organisms. So it is not only the Sora which has been passed from one generation, but we can understand the second part of this aphorism, that there are variety of injurious agencies acting from within and from without, and sometimes continuously on such a variety of organisms permeated with the soric miasm, should produce an innumerable variety of defects, injuries, derangements, and sufferings, which have hitherto been treated of in the old pathological works under a number of specific names as diseases of independent character. So when we talk about diseases, we talk about miasms. When we talk about how what these diseases have developed, before that we need to talk about how we have evolved. So going ahead, so we need to understand how our universe is made up of. As I am very clear that we all have passed through 11, 12 standard, and we are quite update with today how the universe works. So universe is something which works on basic principles, guided principles, and which is very very true. And there are few assumptions, few correlations which have been made by the scientists. The scientists are trying to incorporate the whole knowledge, the fossil study, the atmosphere study. Continuously we are evolving and changing with the time. So what is the theory how this universe was made? So millions and billions, it is almost calculated that it is 4.6 billion years ago when our mother earth started to take birth. So how it took birth? So there is a theory which says that sun did exist before, but there was collision of few particles, and then after there was an atmosphere which was created first. So first creation was the atmosphere which was there, and gradually it took so many billion of years to come as a product what we are today. And still this is not the end. Still the universe is expanding, our knowledge is enhancing. As the days are passing, understanding of each and every nature's law, we are getting that this is true, this is true, and the exploration of the truth is just enhancing day by day. So, going ahead, we will see that what was the Earth's physical environment. There is a question which is coming up. Ki, was this life being embedded from something extra universal, something from outside of the world, or actually the chemical reactions which took place and they have built up the building blocks of life? Could these occur naturally in Earth's environment, or what was it? So, this question is really unsolved today, and there are two theories which work upon. So, they say ki how could these complex organic molecules be compartmentalized in such a contained unit? How did the cell evolve? How did the cell come into existence, and how did this genetic code come into existence what we have today? So as Hahnemann sir said, ki it is the nature's principle, and it has been transferred from millions of years through generation to generation. So let's go ahead and understand. So billion and trillion years ago, as you all know, that the earth started cooling down, the atmosphere started changing up, and there the moon was formed, the earth core was formed, and everything started settling down. And then if you see the scale, it is almost 3.5 millions to 2.5 millions back, billion years back, that our life, first life fossil is being recovered, and where the life has started. So, our journey is not of today. We are carrying the memories of the past still in our genes, somewhere in the brains. We will really correlate with it and understand why it is important to understand this. So, we are carrying memories into our brains. So, this was the atmosphere which contained water vapors. First, there was really hydrogen, oxygen, which combined to form water vapor. There was lot of carbon dioxide, nitrogen gases, lot of dust, lot of hydrogen, methane, hydrogen sulfide, hydrogen cyanide, and formaldehyde. This atmosphere definitely was not suitable for a life to exist. But gradually, the Mother Earth started taking shape, and as the years advanced, the cooling started taking place, and the sun and the planets, which were already there, everything started cooling down. The earth was a hot, glowing ball of hot gases in the beginning, but as eventually water came in, it started cooling down, but still the core is as hot. All the heavy metals went into the center, whereas the gases cooled down the earth, and the gases turned into liquid, and the particles which were lighter, they went into the higher part, forming the atmosphere. So this is where the Mother Earth took into origin. Initially, there was more of water. The whole ocean covered our Mother Earth, and gradually, over trillion of years, billion of years, the continents were formed. So the heavy metals, they went inside, forming the core of the Mother Earth, and the metals are therefore found underneath. They are heavy, forming the earth crust. So I will not take into the intricacies, but where the life began. So these hydrogen atoms, these carbon dioxide, water elements, sodium elements, nitrogen, these elements which were there in the atmosphere, gradually when they started settling, the life forces started beginning, and somewhere we say that yes, this was the beginning. So what were the conditions of earth in the early phases? How these organic molecules were formed? What was the chemical evolution? So gradually there is a history what says that when sodium was there, it combined, when nitrogen was there, it combined with the hydrogen, hydrogen combined with oxygen. There must be a lot of combustion which had taken place, and after few combustions and few chemical reactions, this evolution must have taken place. And there the first primitive cell came into existence. This primitive cell was a unicellular, and this was the birth of our mother earth, giving life first in the beginning phases. These primitive cells, when they found themselves in a comfortable zone, there the photosynthesis must have started. The photosynthesis that flourished first was invented, that it was found in the marine life, and then life started from the ocean to the earth. The stabilization of these geological records was gradual and very subtle, and it has taken so many billion of years that this journey is really very short to describe. So we see that these prebiotic synthesis, what we say today is the viruses, the bacterias, and before them also the unicellular cells which existed, and they started dividing themselves. They started flourishing because they found that the atmosphere was really suitable for them to exist. And this is where the prebiotic synthesis, this is the prebiotic synthesis which we say that they are the base of the life and existed. From where did they come? It is really a mystery still to be explored, from where they have origin. They were brought to earth from extraterrestrial, or they developed through all these combustions or the chemical evolutions which was taking place. And this is where the polymer vesicles, protocells, and diversity of life started developing. So this is the point where life has begun. So we all know that in the journey of human being also, we start our journey from a single ovum to a single sperm, right? So we also start our journey from a single cell unit and then develop into a multicellular organism. So this is the beauty how we can correlate with the nature. So before we existed, so there was during the COVID time, people used to ask, this COVID virus is going to be there till when? So there were theories which come up. Ki this COVID virus was there before also, and it is going to be there till even if we die, still this viruses and bacteria had been there ruling this world before our existence. So bacteria, archaea, and eukaryotes. So prokaryotes gave birth to the eukaryotes. So we, before the human being, these species, these creatures have ruled the world. So from a single cell unit, a multicellular organism has developed. So we carry this process into our cell body also, that we start a journey from a single cell with a multiple division and going to the miracle machine of what we call as a human being. So, as we all know, it all began in water, and everything started when we were in this ocean. The era where 4.6 millions and billions years back, where Earth was cooling itself. Water played the most important role to bring life on this earth, and water started cooling the whole atmosphere, and life started in the land, in the marine life. And then gradually we came to the era of dinosaurs, then how mammals developed, and this is where human being was born. So as we go into the intricacies, we should understand that prokaryotes are the creatures which were being formed, or I should say they are the very very tiny microcellular organisms which are there existing, and eukaryotes are the cellular units where the DNA is there, the genetic material is there in the DNA, but they don't contain the introns, they don't contain the genetic material as what we have in RNA. It gets lost before the RNA replicates itself. So DNA is found in cytoplasm in the nucleus. They do not have the nucleus. So they are not having the membrane bound organelles. That means the cell of a prokaryote doesn't have the cell membrane. They are not, because just understand how we are evolving. Here, there is no membrane. It is not required. The nuclear material is also not encapsulated, and the cytoplasmic granules, they are just there in a small bag, and the reproduction they have is through a binary fission, that is asexual. Whereas a eukaryote has a cell membrane, the nucleus contains the proper genetic material. They have either asexual or sexual, that is mitosis and meiosis, both are existing, and DNA is found in the nucleus, and DNA is usually paired, whereas in prokaryotes it is not paired. So we also start a journey from a sperm, from a ovum. A sperm has got, we are belonging to the eukaryotes. So we belong to this cellular unit which is encapsulated in the cell membrane. So, how did this appear? Now, again, going back to the ages, this was a very